Well, hello everyone. Welcome to this day here on a Friday. It is the first day of February, and we've got a lot of rain still in the forecast. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. On our show today, Gary Morrison is coming on from United, and he's going to be talking about some of the preliminary final totals for the year 2018. They still have the final ones that have to be audited, but he's going through all the different areas and totals and assessments and things like that. So we're going to bring that to you. Also, Dr. Brian Kim is here today, and he is, of course, with Harvard Eye Associates, and he's talking about when you have cataract surgery that possibly you could still have some problems that occur with your retina. It's very interesting. He's going to show different scenarios. We also have a doctor on, Dr. Michael Leon from the UCI Department of Neurobiology and Behavior, and he's going to be talking about environmental enhancements. So we're going to talk about that and some of the studies that they're doing with that. It's really interesting. Now, as far as the meetings go today, United has their new resident orientation in the boardroom at 9 o'clock. And now let's get to the weather. Well, yesterday we got it, I know at our house, we got just over 0.6 of an inch of rain. There were areas in Southern California that got over 2 inches of rain. We're actually on the low side here. However, the storm coming in tomorrow is supposed to be, from all reports, 2 to 3 times as heavy as what we had yesterday. And the bulk of that is going to be coming in the afternoon. So we'll start to see rain. We could see it even late tonight. More than likely for here, we're going to see it coming in somewhere 2 or 3 in the morning, maybe even a little bit later, a little scattered stuff coming in. But then the big front comes in right around in this area, looking like anywhere from noon to about 2 o'clock, really getting heavy in the mid to late afternoon to maybe about 5 o'clock. So anywhere from like 2 to 5 o'clock, they're really looking at very, very heavy rain coming in. Then on Sunday, a little bit more scattered showers. Yesterday I told you it got lessened. Now it's back up to about 30% for scattered showers on a Sunday. And really what that could be is if the Saturday storm spills over a little bit and then the Monday rain comes in a little bit early. But 30% now for Sunday. Monday should be maybe 1/4 of an inch. We could even get some sunshine on Monday. Scattered showers, not too much rain at all. And now back in the forecast is a small chance, a 10% chance of maybe some drizzle on Tuesday, primarily Tuesday morning. So really, it's tomorrow is the day that everyone has to worry about. And they're looking at anywhere from maybe even up to 5 inches of rain of certain areas of the Southern California. Like I said yesterday, there were some areas, mainly inland, Riverside, and those areas that hit over 2 inches of rain. So we still got a lot coming on. Here we are looking at the state, and everywhere you go, it's going to be pretty rainy, and then in the Sierras, snowing as well throughout the weekend. It just depends. Most of the state, the storm coming in tomorrow is going to pretty much cover the entire state at once. And so as that moves, some of that rain will spill over into Sunday in many areas. As you can see now, Mammoth, they're going to get a mix of rain and snow, so not good ski conditions at all. And really the other areas are not going to be really good because the visibility is going to be so low. And of course, they could be getting in quite a lot of snow dumping at once. It's really next week, during the week, when all this stops and the sunshine comes, those are going to be the great days for the state, throughout the state to go skiing. But they did a report yesterday that the Sierra snowpack is just right where it should be right now. I think it's like 2% off, but that is good news. So we're pretty much where we should be at this time of the year. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
The Looking for a change of scenery? You don't have to play golf to enjoy all that 19 Restaurant and Lounge has to offer. From a delicious breakfast menu to our delectable lunch and dinner specials. At 19 Restaurant and Lounge, there is something for everyone. Relax with your friends and family and take in the beautiful view from our spacious patio. Or enjoy a cocktail and appetizer in our lounge. 19 Restaurant and Lounge is a great place to socialize, enjoy a meal, or simply take in the view. Join us 7 days a week and experience Laguna Woods' exclusive dining experience.
And I'd like to welcome from United Mutual today their board treasurer, Gary Morrison. Gary, always good to have you. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here. And of course,
I'm going to have to shake
yeah, we'll
hands
shake like this
way.
Because the poor guy.
And I want to apologize to all of you for being casually dressed, but I broke my arm, had surgery, and I can't really fit into many clothes.
That's all right. We'll forgive you.
All right, thank you.
So the start of the new year, basically, you know, we're a month in.
Yeah.
We've passed January, believe it or not. Amazing. But this is the time that pretty soon, I think, I don't know if it's your next meeting or you kind of get a look at the year back, don't you, year to date?
Is what we're talking about today
Yeah.
is year end,
Yes.
12/31.
Yeah.
And so then we'll be having an audit of the books, and then we'll be making adjustments. So the figures that I'm talking about today will be preliminary figures.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So I'm going to get started here. So the income statement as of 12/31/2018, total revenue year to date was $40,971,000. Total expenses year to date, $43,134,000. So we were actually worse than budget. So we had excess expenses over revenues of $2,163,000. The major differences were property taxes, which of course are an estimate and we never really know how those are going to end up because it depends on the selling prices
Right.
of the homes.
Yeah.
Water intrusion, and also we had a lot of water usage that this year that we did not budget. So United was worse than budget by $1,204,000, and basically in the categories of employee compensation, we had savings due to delayed progress of certain reserve programs, the outsourcing of water heaters, dry watt, building structures, delayed, and a mix of smaller buildings being painted requiring fewer materials than ours. Our materials and supplies is more cost effective because the product we selected for water heater replacements in the first part of the year were less expensive. However, it was decided that we would go back to the other ones, which has a 10-year warranty on the water heaters. Outside services is all due to timing. We had dry rot repair program that began in August, and landscape revitalization began in November. So therefore, those areas were up in cost. Interest income, we had higher reserve balances than anticipated, yielding more interest income. Our total assessment revenues were $39,477,000. Non-assessment revenues were $1,494,000, and the non-assessment revenues were 25%, which were miscellaneous fees charged to residents, 26% interest income, 18% laundry income, 29% fees and charges for services to residents, and 2% for merchandise sales. Our total revenues were $40,971,097. Total expenses, $43,134,370. In the expenses, 33% were employee comp and related, 25% property and sales tax, 18% outside services, 10% utilities and telephones, 7% materials and supplies, and the rest were just minute. Excess expenses over revenues were $2,163,000. Now, as I said, these are preliminary figures, so it could go either way. It depends on if a company has not billed us or
Right. Right.
has maybe overbilled us, and so then we'll move that to 2019, and so it can go either way. So the audit
Okay.
can tell us what we need to change, and that'll be the final.
Okay,
the
so there's
final
some
number.
things that can be shifted?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right.
Now, the balance sheet, current month end was $78,256,096. Prior year, December in 2017 was $80,101,294. So we had a decrease on the balance sheet of $1,845,198. Our delinquencies, current month 18 at $105,494. Our prior month 17, $99,553. So we were up one delinquency, almost $6,000. We recorded one lien. We had 2 files that were submitted to legal counsel. We had 5 files that we turned over to collection, and 3 files with our NCB, our Citibank. We had 1 lender for closure, and we have 3 that are maintaining a balance of below $1,800. So it's $1,800 where we start taking action. So we had 3 that
Okay.
were below that. So we're
Okay, so $1,800 equals about 3 months, am I right? Give or take?
Yeah.
Just to,
Yes.
I know it
Yeah.
can be different for,
different houses.
right,
yeah,
right,
because it's
but-
based on taxes.
yeah.
Chargeable services delinquency report as of, and these were as of January the 21st, so our current month count, we had 20 at $106,486, and prior month we had 20 at $107,490, so we're up $1,000 from the previous month. Excuse me. Our monthly resale report as of December 2018, we had 345 resales. The resales last year to date, 481, so we were down 136 sales, or down 28%. Our sales volume, 95,388,540. Last year, 122,803,216. So we're down 27,414,676. So we had a decrease of 22.3% change. Our average resale price this year was $274,454. Our average resale price last year was $255,039. So our average resale price was up almost $20,000, or an increase of 7.6%. Monthly leasing, same 9% as we had in the previous couple months. We are going to have a reserve study performed this year. So the board passed a budget of $40,000, and this is to, we're going to put this RFP out for a bid so that we can get different accounting firms to bid and come in and tell us what they think we need
Okay.
or don't need, and give us the number of years to base that projection upon.
Okay.
Everyone now should have received the 2019 budget, and so the next thing I want to talk about is Roundup, because Roundup has been a big
Yes.
discussion.
Right.
Third right now is in a study, and they have 3 different parcels, as I understand. I've not been over there, but different products on all 3 parcels. And so what they're trying to do is figure out what a substitute might be, and what that's going to cost, and how much extra amount of money it would cost if we have to hire more employees,
Right.
because more
Yeah.
has to be done. I just personally went around and asked people in my area about the signing of that petition for
Right.
Roundup. And almost it was 7-3, that anyone who signed that petition said we didn't realize that there was going to be an increase in cost with it, or we wouldn't have
okay.
signed it. So I want to know before I put anything
Yeah.
out there, I want to know what the actual costs are going to be to our community, and then we can vote and make a decision on what we're going to do. But
Okay.
I'm not for just jumping into something right now and hitting people with a big assessment.
Okay.
We're putting together a study group right now to review the solar package and ascertain if United is receiving the monies that we were promised by the electric companies for going solar. And at this point, we're not really sure where that lies, so that's why we're putting together a group that knows that solar package and can review everything, and then we can go back to the electric companies and claim funds that we may not have received.
Okay.
We just passed, or the finance passed a payment plan for delinquent assessments. On December the 18th, United Governing Docs Review Committee requested changes to the draft payment plan agreement and presented it to the Finance Committee. The plan is on a case-by-case basis. Mutual is under no obligation to grant requests. So the Finance Committee voted to initiate an interest rate of 10% per year and a one-time administrative fee of $50 per year for delinquencies. Damage restoration administrative fee. On January the 24th, 2019, at Executive Hearings Committee, a motion was made and carried unanimously to recommend that the board approve a damage restoration administrative fee. This is to impose a monetary charge as a means of reimbursing the association for costs incurred by the association in the repair of damage to a common area and facilities caused by a member or member's guest or tenant. The Finance Committee voted unanimously to impose a 10% reimbursement cost for any values or repairs over $1,000.
Okay.
Purchase of dryers. United is purchasing 20 dryers from Third, because Third is going to coin operated.
Okay.
So we talked to them, and we have purchased dryers that are 5 years old or under there. And so we got them for $100.
Okay. Not bad.
So we saved about $600 per dryer.
Yeah.
We're getting 20, and so those will be installed in United in the near future. Let's see. Next Finance Committee meeting, and I've got the wrong date here, so I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
We also have started an investment policy task force, and United, GRF, and Third have all the treasurers, and we all have a committee from each of the areas.
Okay.
And we're going out to get bids from various companies to tell us what they can and can't do with the monies that we have in reserves.
Okay.
And safety is number one.
And I imagine there's very specific parameters that's set up
Yes.
by the state and.
Well, somewhat, but not what you would think. But we just, here the people are more interested in the
Right.
safety factor
Right.
with the reserve funds. But we're, at this point, we're making 1 or 2%
Yeah.
on our investments, which is low, and then we're paying money
That's true.
for someone to handle it. So that's kind of where we're going with this, is
Okay.
to find out if someone can do a better job and handle it for less money. Moisture intrusion. The water intrusion now, last year, 2 years ago was $1.5 million. It came down last year to about $1.250 million. And this year it's down to $650,000.
Okay,
And
well,
that's
that's good.
because we have been really pushing waistline or the fixing of the waistlines. And so we've gone from 12 years to 6 years. We want to have every building done in 6 years. And basically, I just thought that you can't keep spending $1.5 million cleaning up water and
Right.
getting ahead of the program. So then we pushed it forward, and I think by the figures, I think we're on the right track. Supply line remediation, we're going to be getting into that also, and this year this would be the first, and it's an expensive proposition. It's going to be estimate is about $8,500 per unit, so
Wow.
it could be $50 million. So the supply line is not as bad as the waste line was. We have some leaks, but it's not horrible. So that's why we kind of threw all the funds going into waste line remediation and let supply line set for a couple years.
Okay.
Handyman program seems to be going well, and I think people have good things to say about it, and we are monitoring that to make sure that it does not go negative on us.
And how many, do you know offhand how many people?
Honestly, I don't know, but it's several hundred, I think.
All right.
We're also doing electric panel replacements outside, and that's also an expensive proposition, and those also have not been taken care of for years. So we're just trying to take care of all the infrastructure that is going awry at this point in time. CPI, or cost of living increase, we discussed at the board meeting, and I personally feel that if our cost of living goes up 2% a year, then we ought to automatically increase 2% for our budget.
Right.
I was voted down, so it's not going to happen.
Okay.
At this time, monthlies are due to increase by $9.53 a month. So that's about all I have.
All right, that was a lot. And as you said, you'll have, when do you expect like the final of all this?
It'll probably be a month or two.
Okay.
Yeah, because the outside accountants have to come in, and then they go through things and pull samples and and then delve in if something doesn't look correct, and so it takes a while.
Okay, and it looks like it's going to be a challenging year as far as projects and Roundup and all that.
Yes, yeah. And I just want to tell everybody out there, I did not get a $98,000 bonus, as I've heard going around the community.
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Didn't get it, but I would be happy if you want to give it to me.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you very much.
All right, Gary, good to see you. You take
Thanks.
care. Happy New Year again to you, because
Thanks.
I haven't seen you since.
Yeah,
And
same to you.
we'll see you again soon.
Great.
All right. Bye.
At Diane's Hallmark, we're ready for Valentine's Day. Are you? Come in and see our great selection of cards and gifts. We have everything you need to show that special someone how much you care. And don't forget those grandkids either. Diane's Hallmark has many gifts and cards for them as well. Diane's Hallmark is located in the town center right next to Hobby Lobby. Come in today and take care of all of your Valentine's Day needs.
Individual care, specialized care. At Harvard Eye Associates, your vision and quality of life can be trusted to a group of specialists that provide advanced technology for the treatment of cataracts, including laser-assisted surgery, a broad range of intraocular lenses, and astigmatism correction. Come join the Circle of Care at Harvard Eye Associates, where the future of vision is today.
Well, with me today from Harvard Eye Associates is Dr. Brian Kim. I'd like to welcome you back. Always good to see you folks.
Oh, thank you so much for having me back.
And today, an interesting subject that has to do with cataract surgery, and this is retina problems that could occur. And I guess when people have cataract surgery, a lot of times they're thinking, okay, I think my vision is going to be fantastic, and it certainly is improved. but there can be some issues as well, right?
That's right, and this isn't meant to be any sort of scary or off-putting kind of talk today. In fact, I had two other titles for this segment, and that was, why is my vision still blurry after cataract surgery? Or, my friend didn't need glasses, why do I need glasses after cataract surgery? And it's, most of the time, cataract surgery, as I'm sure you're aware, it goes very well, and most people do notice a significant improvement. But there are a lot of other things and a lot of other considerations that we have to understand about cataract surgery. And that is primarily that cataracts are not the only thing that can affect vision. And oftentimes we just forget that as people, as doctors and patients. So, and this kind of all goes back to thinking of the eye as a camera. So just as you would use a camera, if you're getting a blurry picture and something that's out of focus, we just have to think, well, why is it getting out of focus? And that can be from, well, maybe there's a scratch on the cover, or the lens is a little bit dirty, or maybe it's not quite in focus, or maybe there's something wrong with the film in the camera. So there are lots of different places, and there are lots of moving parts here. And so, cataract surgery isn't always the end-all, be-all for people's vision problems. So today, I wanted to primarily focus on more of the inner inside of the eye, the retina in the back of the eye, because that tends to be a little bit more invisible to people. It's something that's not necessarily a tangible fact or a tangible component. But I think, but we get a lot of, oftentimes we'll see a lot of people come in just a little bit frustrated, and I think a lot of it comes from expectations with cataract surgery.
And is this something that you folks can determine ahead of time? Do you look at the, you're looking at the whole package, so to speak? Like it's probably obvious, okay, they need cataract surgery, but there's other things that can be going on as well.
Yeah, and I think from taking the patient's perspective, and you think, oh, yep, I have a cataract and I need surgery. And when you're told you need surgery, I think the mind typically wants to go to, well, I need surgery, and you forget and block out everything else. But I think it's, the take-home message here, which we'll see at the my very end, is just try, and we want to make sure that we're aware of the whole condition of the eye to see what we should expect with our cataract surgery. So, even the cataract surgery, if it goes perfectly, we can still end up with a little bit of a blurry vision. And most of the time, when we manage these kinds of concerns after surgery, are oftentimes things that we knew ahead of time, but it was just maybe either a misunderstanding or a miscommunication. So, my take-home point today for this entire thing is just walk in knowing what to expect and have an understanding of the entire condition of your eye as a whole. So in this next slide, we're going to look at floaters. Now, first explain what a floater is. Everyone gets those, even if your vision is great, you do get them. That's right, yeah. It's typically an age-related finding that we see. The gel inside of the eye just starts to become a little bit more mobile with age. And cataract surgery can sometimes make that a little bit more mobile as well. But oftentimes, people really notice them a lot more after cataract surgery. Well, because we've cleared up the vision a whole lot better and improved that vision so much that now you can actually see them. And sometimes people just get very annoyed by this new visual phenomenon that it can sometimes be a little off-putting or unnerving, yet it was there pre-existing. And it's not something that necessarily even the doctors we can't see them very well either, so we don't know what to expect necessarily. So, what causes them? Because throughout my life, every once in a while you get them. Even when I was young, in fact, I remember many, many years ago going up to a science center in San Francisco, and I forget when this was, but probably in the early 1980s or something like that. And one of the exhibits was about floaters. And I remember my friends and I were all like, yeah, we get those. We always wondered what those were. And it explained what it was. So it's not unusual for somebody 20 years old to have floaters on occasion. Oh, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, it's the proteins within the eye that just they become a little bit more apparent, and they start to liquefy as we get older. So some people start seeing them at age 20, but the typical age is really around the age between 50 and 70. We tend to see a lot larger floaters or more numerous ones. So now with cataract surgery, we still want to investigate that. If people notice them after surgery, most of the time it tends to be that they're just more visible. But they can be things like we've talked in the past. They can be the early indication that people might have a retinal tear or a retinal detachment or something unwanted or unexpected as a side effect of cataract surgery. Now that's not common, don't get me wrong, but and certainly nothing to to deter surgery for most people. But it is something that we want to be aware of.
Right.
And in the rarest cases, it can be a sign of infection. Sometimes we actually see the white blood cells trying to fight off an early infection. So. Or so to speak, and so we always want to evaluate new floaters after cataract surgery. But I'd say the most of the time it was probably something that's there to begin with.
Yeah, and just now you're noticing
and now
it
you're
a
just
little more.
noticing it.
The next slide, pre-existing retinal conditions, and of course this is something again that it goes back to communication, where
Right, exactly.
the patient understands. Well, yes, you do need cataract surgery. However,
Right.
you know, it's not going to be the end all for everything and get you perfectly clear vision.
Right, and I'd say most of the time we understand and we know what to expect and we can see the retina well enough. But you know, when you can't see out of your eyes, we also can't see into your eyes either. So it's it's sort of a cloudy lens inside the eye. So oftentimes the cataract is just so bad that we cannot even accurately tell what's going on, and we don't know until after cataract surgery. Of course, we do have instrumentation that helps us to better predict that, but yeah, there's an occasional time where we just don't know.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Altogether.
Okay.
So that does impact. If we don't know what we're getting into necessarily, sometimes the doctor will have to make recommendations more conservatively as far as what lens implants or how aggressive, what type of surgery we actually want to do.
Okay.
Should you pay money for this surgery, or should you enhance your surgery, or should you just kind of sit back and just wait and see what happens and enhance that later on.
And that's an option?
That's
that
an
could be
option,
done later?
sure, absolutely.
All right. So the pre-existing retinal conditions, macular pucker and degeneration, and also diabetes.
And also diabetes is a factor too. Sure, certain things can oftentimes can be pre-existing that are very subtle changes on exam, or it's something that it's very difficult to detect, but can affect your vision after surgery. Yet we're there the whole time.
Okay, and macular edema.
So this is one of the more common things, and this is a side effect of just having surgery itself. If we have surgery anywhere in the body, we expect inflammation and swelling, but in the eye it can create swelling in the retina itself and can blur your vision. And for the most part, it has a very good prognosis and something that we can treat with drops or medications alone. But yeah, we want to be aware that yes, some people just require a little extra healing time. Which is, when we think about it in that way, it tends to make sense.
And again, when you go in for this, or really anything, is I think the best thing for patients anyway is if you're experiencing a problem beyond, or you feel you are, it's communication back and forth. And for you folks to communicate back, okay, here are some things that could be the possibilities here.
That's absolutely right. We encourage the patient to be engaging and proactive and ask about other possible conditions. And we want to, sometimes after you've got all your questions asked about surgery, we want to say, well, are there any other considerations, or is there anything else that I should know about my eye? Just to kind of bring it back and let's take that step back and just get the whole picture of my eye, so that we all know what to expect from surgery. Yeah.
And I know you've talked about this before, and so is some of the other doctors, that cataract surgery is now, it's getting to the point that when people have a LASIK surgery, if they get to a certain age, they may reconsider and just wait because a good chance they may have cataract surgery later. And can't LASIK surgery kind of interact 5, 6, 7 years down the road?
It certainly can. It can interact, and oftentimes we can often get the same results that LASIK surgery would with cataract surgery these days. So in many people, so yeah, it is something to strongly consider, and certainly talk to your eye doctor about before doing that. But
all right.
Yeah, it is Macular Degeneration Awareness Month once again, and we have our our monthly seminar that we've been doing for several years. So we'll be talking about macular degeneration again at the end of the month. And
and people are just invited to show up, or should they call first? Do they need to?
Please call. Yeah.
Okay. You have a limited space, right?
We do have limited space.
Okay.
But it is open to the public, and anybody who would like to attend, sure, it's open. So
Okay.
we invite everybody to come.
So that's going to be on February 26th at 5:30. Don't know what day of the week that is?
That's a Tuesday.
Tuesday,
yes.
okay. And 951-2020 is the number. Or you can email them at, you can see there, Christine M. at harvardeye.com. If you forget that for some reason, you can contact us here because we are in contact with Christine quite often, so we can pass along her email to you as well.
Well, thank you so much, Ken.
All right. Doctor, good to see you. Say hi to everyone for me.
Will do. Thank you so much.
All right, take care. We'll be right back.
Missed a moment of the passage?
Explain to me why you need a kid.
What we're doing could save millions.
It's not too late to catch the show critics say is gripping.
You're my most important little girl in the world.
Will keep you coming back for more.
I suggest you run.
Your next thriller obsession.
You just did that.
I just sit there.
The Passage, all new Mondays at 9, or watch anytime on demand or Fox Now.
When you have confidence in your retirement future, you can live the life you've always imagined. Because of planning, you now have time to reflect on the wonderful memories of your life. You and your spouse finally have the luxury of leisure time together. To spend fun times with your grandkids, sharing the joy of their excitement about life. Smiling at the thought of quality time with your children and of picking up the check. At last, you have time to breathe and rekindle the love of your life. Why? Because you imagined what could be. You planned for retirement. So today, you own your future.
Choice for President's Day savings is LA Carpet and More.
Now save 65% on carpet and 65% off tile.
Plus, get 5 years 0% financing.
LA Carpet, #1 for you.
The #1 choice for President's Day savings is LA Carpet and More.
Now save 65% on carpet and 65% off tile.
Plus, get 5 years 0% financing.
LA Carpet, #1 for you.
Put them on there. Yeah. Welcome back with me today from the UCI Department of Neurobiology and Behavior. I'd like to welcome Dr. Michael Leon. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
A pleasure to have you here today. And first, your background. You were just telling me you've been with UCI for quite a while.
Right. I came to UCI in 1980. I've been a member of the Neurobiology and Behavior Department for all that time. I've worked on all sorts of projects, including treating children with autism, and now we are working on making memories better in older adults.
Well, that's a great project. And of course, UCI is absolutely terrific university. First, tell us kind of the background of this and environmental enhancement.
So it turns out that there are almost 2,000 published studies in research animals showing that if you take them from their plain ordinary box cage and you put them in a so-called enriched environment, larger cage, more things to do, more rats or mice to play with, their brains become much better. And not only do they become much better, their behavior becomes much better, their memory becomes much better, their motor abilities become much better. And if you engineer into these laboratory animals all of the symptoms of human neurological disorders. All of the human-like symptoms that they have become greatly decreased when they're in the enriched environment, right? So they express them when they're in minimal sensory conditions, but when you give them enhanced sensory stimulation, you greatly minimize all of the symptoms that they have in the human neurological conditions.
Okay, so what type of sensory stimulations are you talking about? Are you just, is it more than just contact with other animals, or in the case of people, being around people in general?
It turns out that you need more stimulation than you think in all your sensory systems. So you need more visual stimulation, you need more auditory stimulation, you need more tactile stimulation, you need more olfactory stimulation. And for example, when we gave this to children with autism at home by their parents over 6 months, 42% had a major improvement in their symptoms compared to 6% who were getting standard care. And after 6 months, 21% were no longer considered to have autism compared to 0% in standard care.
Wow.
So this is just plain giving additional stimulation every day turns out to be really great for people's brains.
Now let's talk about olfaction and how because that can really have a great benefit. And one of the things you sent me here is it precedes a loss of, olfaction loss precedes all forms of dementia.
Yes, so it turns out that the olfactory system is the most powerful system that you have in terms of stimulating your brain. And it turns out the reason for that is because the olfactory system is the only system that has direct inputs into the memory systems of your brain. And when you lose olfactory stimulation by accident or any other sort of problem, even when you're younger, you can see a massive deterioration of the memory parts of your brain. And as people get older, the olfactory system decreases in its ability to smell things as a natural course of living. And it parallels the natural course of memory loss, right?
Yeah.
And indeed, before any kind of dramatic loss of memory, you have a dramatic loss of olfactory function. So before Alzheimer's disease, before Parkinson's disease, before frontotemporal dementia, before schizophrenia, memory loss, what you have is a loss of olfaction. And what we're trying to do is to see whether we can reverse all of that by giving increased olfactory stimulation.
And you know, you bring up a very good point, because how many times that people, there's a scent that comes their way, and all of a sudden they go, man, that reminds me when I was a kid and we were at this place, and you know, it can pinpoint exactly where you were. It doesn't matter what it might be. But it's incredible, it really is.
So part of the reason for that is that your olfactory memories go straight from your nose into the memory parts of your brain.
Wow.
And so they're very powerful for that reason. And so we actually started a study, we've completed it, showing that we can have major improvements in study in individuals over 60 when they get daily new kinds of olfactory stimulation in the way that we present it. So in the first study, as you can see, there was 181% better than controls in a standard learning test. So I should tell you that people are delighted if they get an improvement of about 10%.
Yeah.
Nobody sees things at this level. There are no nutrients, no vitamins, no pills that can get you there. Computer program playing just makes you better at playing that computer game. It doesn't increase your overall memory. And exercise does it minimally, but of course most people don't like it, or they get injured very rapidly.
Yeah.
So this is a real breakthrough in that sense, because it gets people's memory improved dramatically with very little effort.
What is it that you exactly do? I mean, do you bring in different scents of different things? Or?
We give people a nebulizer, a diffuser, and every day they get different kinds of essential oils that we put in that are specially selected in a specially selected way.
Okay.
So it's not like aromatherapy where you take one odor and you think it has special privileges in your brain. The idea is to give you novelty, and you have different kinds of olfactory stimuli every day over the course of 6 months.
Okay.
Right? And in a second study, we found that there was an improvement of 268% better than controls. Again, something that you just never see in any other study. And in a third study, using standard kinds of testing, we found that 1,258% better than controls. Again, nobody sees that kind of improvement.
Right.
And so what we're doing now is we've done the initial study. We now want to try to make this procedure as good as it can be. And so we're recruiting 200 older adults between 60 and 85. They just have to be of reasonably good health. And if they are, they can be participants in our study. For those individuals who do the olfactory stimulation alone, it's done at night while you sleep. There's no effort. We give them $100 as a reward. And if they also allow us to image their brains, again, non-invasive, it's a very pleasant experience, we give them an extra $150 as a reward for their participation. So we hope people will do this. They can contact me at mleon@uci.edu or give me a call at that number, and we'd be happy to sign them up.
Do you hope this gets to the point where you can determine somebody, and I know right now from other people other doctors we have come on that work with Alzheimer's, it's that early stage of when they can kind of maybe see you might be on this path and you can change certain things. Is that where this, you hope, is heading? Do you get to the point that, hey, this is something else, this is another tool that can possibly help people?
So eventually what we'd like to see this is rather than a medical procedure, as a public health service. And that is, we want people to start doing this early so that their brain has plenty of olfactory stimulation and that it never develops minimal cognitive impairment or Alzheimer's disease. And in that way, we can prevent them from getting it rather than trying to treat it once their brain has already started to deteriorate. So we think that's the real benefit. I should also point out that we've tried this in inner city classrooms, and it has a great benefit for those kids too. So probably throughout life, we need more olfactory stimulation than we're getting, and we think that if people realize this, they can start giving themselves this kind of treatment, and it will benefit them throughout their life.
Okay, I'm just curious, how do you go about picking the scents, and what are some of them that you do? Do you interview that person, kind of think maybe what their life's been like? Or I'm like, well, what did
so the critical thing, just like in the animal research where the environment is critical, what we're doing is looking for novelty.
Okay.
So these are odors that you may or may not recognize, and certainly odors that you don't experience every day.
Okay.
And they have to be given in a certain way, otherwise all you have is aromatherapy.
Yeah.
Right? So no one has had the idea of using the odors not as pleasant things to make you happy or decrease your stress, but actually give you novel experiences.
Okay.
And that's what's critical in the environmental enrichment paradigm.
All right, very good. Very interesting.
Great.
Thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And again, if you'd like to contact Dr. Leon, it's mleon@uci.edu or 949-237-3026, and then they can talk to you about possibly being part of this study. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Village Television. I'm Lisa Hart.
And I'm Ken Goldenberg.
We're the hosts of This Day Morning Show.
And today we'd like to help you navigate our YouTube channel where you can watch all your favorite Village Television programs.
First, you will want to open your browser and in the search bar, type in YouTube. Or if you are using Google, you can go to the upper right-hand corner and click on the 9 dots, which make a square, and this will provide a pull-down menu. Choose YouTube. Upon YouTube opening, there will be a search bar for you to type in Village Television.
Select the Village Television logo or select the words Village Television. Once you are on the Village Television's YouTube channel, you will have a few options: videos, playlists, channels, discussion, about, and search. To watch videos, it's best to know which show you want to watch. Click on the playlist.
Here you will choose which show you'd like to watch. For example, if you want to watch This Day, select This Day. You can scroll down and look for the video you are looking for. Or if you know what the subject is about, you can use the search button, which is the magnifying glass, and type in the subject.
To subscribe to the channel, you can click on the subscribe button and click on the bell. To view all governance videos, including Third, United, GRF, or VMS reports, go to the Laguna Woods Village website, and then in the upper left-hand corner, click on the YouTube logo. And once YouTube opens, you can use the search icon for the specific meeting or report you are looking for.
Thank you for watching, and we hope this has helped you find all the fun shows and videos at Village Television.
Do you know the difference between the parts of Medicare? Part A, Part B, Part C, and Part D. There are many important facts you need to understand about Medicare to make sure you get the most out of the Medicare plans and benefits that are available to you. My name is Erin Reed, and I'm a licensed Medicare expert, and I would love to help you navigate the complicated Medicare system. Please call me today for a free consultation so we can figure out the plan that is right for you.
Hi, I'm John Bowser Bauman. You probably know me best as Bowser from Sha Na Na, but I'm also president of Social Security Works PAC. And you know, when I'm in Laguna Woods, I always watch Village Television. Grease for peace.
And our movie coming up today is Venom. It is a Marvel movie, very different one, and it's one that I have not seen yet, and I didn't even know about the Venom character. I know a lot of the Marvel Universe characters, but not this one. After a faulty interview with the Life Foundation ruins his career, former reporter Eddie Brock's life is in pieces. 6 months later, he comes across the Life Foundation again and comes into contact with an alien symbiote and becomes Venom, a parasitic anti-hero. This stars Tom Hardy and Michelle Williams. Again, a very different Marvel character. You know, most of them are very kind of likable and have a bit of comedy to them. This one's very different, but a good movie, and very interesting. At the very end of this movie, if you watch the credits, it goes into, you know, there's always, with the Marvel things, little things in the credits. With the very end, there's about a 3-minute segment from the recent Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the animated movie. So this character sort of appears in the animated, this little animated sequence. So it's quite interesting how they're going to bring those all together. But good movie. This will be today at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. Now, our movie on Monday is based on a true story. It's called Concussion, and it stars Will Smith and Alec Baldwin along with Albert Brooks. And this is about an accomplished pathologist, Dr. Bennett Omalu, who uncovers the truth about brain damage in professional football players and football players in general who suffer repeated concussions in the course of normal play. Very good movie. This came out in 2015, and it sort of follows the path of what happened with the NFL at the time, and I should say what, in many cases, how the NFL tried to really downplay this and was pretty successful at it at the time. This will be our Monday movie at 2 o'clock and at 6 o'clock, so enjoy that. I want to remind you folks that if you have a dog and you'd like to get them licensed and vaccinated, coming up on February 7th, Laguna Woods Dog Club, in conjunction with the Alicia Pet Care Center, is putting on a clinic. They'll have both veterinary services there, so you'll be able to get rabies vaccinations, Bordetella, you'll be able to get your dog microchipped, and then also they will have license services as well. So this is going to be a great day to go out and get your pup taken care of. There's various prices depending what you want or depending what you want to have done. And the microchip thing, if you don't have that, I just think is really a terrific idea. So again, Thursday, February 7th at the club at Clubhouse 1 over in the main lounge. Now the weather, as I said, be prepared for a lot of rain tomorrow. They're predicting the rain tomorrow is going to be 2 to 3 times stronger than what we just had yesterday. And yesterday in around Southern California, anywhere from 1/2 to 2 inches of rain came down yesterday. We got a little over 1/2 inch at our house. So tomorrow's going to be really strong. Today we might really doubt it, but I put a chance of late rain. When I say late, I'm talking about 11 o'clock or after. We'll maybe start getting a little drizzle. The bulk of tomorrow's rains, the heaviest, is looking in the afternoon. So keep that in mind. 30% chance now on Sunday of scattered showers. On Monday, scattered showers as well. Looking maybe, at Sunday, maybe not much at all. Monday, maybe 1/4 of an inch. Then Tuesday, maybe 1/10 of an inch at most. Here we are around California. Everything is going to be pretty cool this weekend. And, but, you know, compared to what they just had in the Midwest, you know, we're 100 degrees warmer, so not bad. Snow and rain throughout California this weekend. And yeah, go Rams. We will see you here on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.